Let me into my zone. Let me into my zone. Please don't let me into my zone. 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 Please don't let.
Welcome back to Crown's Crypto Cave. Waking up for a little bit of a early morning over here on a Thursday from Helsinki, Finland. Want to be wishing you well as always. And and I want to say that the Cointelegraph interview with trader Charlie Burden is now up and live. Really massive respect for Charlie. He was really interesting to listen to and kind of bounce ideas off of. So definitely consider checking that out if you are interested in checking out such things. Also, I definitely want to follow up from yesterday's price action, or really the last few days of price action, because we are seeing one of the main ideas start to extrapolate, and I do believe that we're probably gonna have clarity on the situation by end of week, which would be, I suppose, tomorrow. Which reminds me to say that tomorrow I'm actually gonna be going on an airplane once again. So the Crown and an Airplane indicator, as weird as it sounds, I suppose I should warn you if you're new here. For whatever reason, the last like 3 or 4 times I've been on an airplane, Bitcoin has always pumped at least $1,000 or more, I believe it is. So I'm always a little bit surprised to get off the airplane and see where Bitcoin exactly is. But I suppose I'll have a little bit of a warning for that. I don't know. Maybe it holds true again. Who the fuck knows? And also I want to remind myself to talk about the Crown Trading application, which is now live. It's very basic format right now, but you can see the first page. We'll be adding the second page relatively soon. More updates coming with each and every passing week. And it's 100% free. So check it out at app.crowntrading.net. I believe the link's in the description below. So should be pretty damn easy. Anyways, what else do I want to say? I think that pretty much covers that. I'm probably forgetting something, man. Oh, I'll be on Twitch tonight for sure. Well, you can never say for sure, man. Like, weird things happen, right? But what I would like to say about that is the links in the description below for the Twitch channel. And so it's been really fun because, you know, analysizing Bitcoin is not at the forefront. It's more in the background, and playing games kind of takes the foreground, which takes the pressure off and really allows for that nice, you know, relaxed trading environment that I really want to be, you know, seen for, because that's what it is to me, at least that's how I like to be doing that business. And I hope to create like kind of a community in that way where, you know, we can all kind of hang out, you know, do a little bit of trading here and there, talk markets in the periphery, but try to relax and enjoy the day, because why the fuck not, man? Anyways, with all of that said, I'm wishing you the best of the best and also the happiest of the happiest. I'd like to teleport into the live stream right now, so I'm pressing that button, baby, and the animation's taking me in there, and there she is, CME's on the 12-hour. This is what we were following up from yesterday. So we actually did see CMEs come all the way down to the area that we were speaking about, right at the edge of this blue box territory, also in line with the 12-hour 21 exponential moving average right here. And I do believe that this is very interesting to me, because we have a lot of things going on here, and this is the next big thing as far as I'm concerned. And we said that yesterday we were likely to come back down and test around this blue box territory. I would have intuitively thought, by looking at spot, that would have put us down around like 8350 to 8400. We didn't quite get down there on spot actually, but CME's got down to this region. So again, with expiration coming up relatively soon, I think that we are we're one Friday away from expiration or actually no, is today expiration, or sorry, tomorrow expiration. Let me see, is this the last Friday in the month? No, it is not. Okay, yes, we do have one more week to go. But with that said, the premium for CME is going to dissipate, and that's probably causing a little bit more of that, causing that differential that I saw between spot and CMEs, which, you know, I thought that it would probably get a little bit lower while CME's gone in this region. Doesn't look so. But I would still say that offers up the opportunity for another drive lower into the lower bound of this blue box territory, which is actually synonymous with not just that area, not just kind of our local high right here from 7th of January, but also the 200 simple on the 12-hour as well. So, you know, can we get another wick down into that region and reach a little bit deeper into it, which would probably put spot, you know, into that targeted region, and you know, at around 83, 8250-ish. Where the fuck's my chart? There we go. Yeah, in this region right here. I think it's possible, but I think it's also very also very reasonable to think that we've already kind of seen that drive down, and it's kind of getting bought up right now. So what we were speaking about yesterday was essentially looking for the reaction off that test into that region, and that's going to provide clarity into the situation of, well, is this golden cross that we see on the 12-hour going to play out? And by that metric, a 12-hour golden cross, you know, between the green and the purple, that's the 55 and the 200 right there. very likely to drag on the daily golden cross, which holds even more weight. Both of them really important. Of course, starts with the lower time frames, and with that said, let's actually go over a little bit of the history of this, because I do think that is quite relevant right now for price action. And more importantly, we can see that even on the 12-hour golden cross for spot. Let me pull up a stamp right here. We do see that very rarely do you get fake outs around this. The last time that we got a golden cross was basically leading us out from the last bear market to 4,000 to 14,000. Got the death cross right around here. A little bit later than we got bearish below about 10.3, but this one happened at about 9.8 and led us all the way down to about 6,500 on this drive low right here. And then of course going a little bit further back than that, we were death crossed the whole way through in 2018. Got close a few times, but never quite there. And then of course going before that, there's pretty much no one-offs going throughout all this whole run right here. In 2014, 2015, a few, but even with those one-offs, with these failed rally attempts, there are still some pretty nice rallies. This one over here, even though it did end up failing, it was about a 25% move from signal given to next high. And even this guy right here, which doesn't look all that impressive, that's another 25.5% move as well. So if we were to conservatively kind of estimate that, and again, keeping in mind that actually very rarely do we see this provided fake out, but it is possible. As we've seen, it's certainly possible. And of course, the macro trend is still to the downside. I mean, weekly still down. If we were to just, for shits and giggles, add 25% on, or even just 20% on to the price action right here, not just, but you get my point. That would essentially put us in striking distance of making a higher high on the weekly, which, remember, the weekly trend has been pretty much the key critical point to kind of judge Bitcoin's long term. So I'm kind of going around the whole sphere right now. But because the lower timeframes haven't changed around all that much, and realistically the higher ones haven't as well, I figure I might as well just talk about the higher timeframes while we're here, because I do think it's a little bit more important. Now, the thing is that while I do think it's possible for Bitcoin to get another move down and test around like 83, 83.50, 82, somewhere in that $100 range down there, that's pretty much synonymous with the yellow 21 exponential moving average. But as long as we're above there, we will create a positive slope on the 21, the yellow moving average right here, which that in tune with price action getting its first open and closure above, which is in progress on this current week right now, has been actually pretty much all you need in the past to get your long-term bull markets. Anytime that we've had anytime that we've seen a price action both opening and closing weekly deltas above the 21 and having a positive slope on it, those are your bull marks. Again, kind of like synthesize that statement a little bit lower. And of course, you do see that we get a few closes above during bear marks, but the slope of the 21 never got above. And to take that with just one step further, we do see putting on a little bit of a lower period moving average, like the red 10 simple right here, that's going to curl around and give us a positive slope, assuming that Bitcoin does close anywhere above about 8,500, extremely likely on Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, which we get to see CMEs close for the week tomorrow, which is going to have great influence into spot price action, I would imagine, as typically goes. And again, just taking that one step further, that just adds one more point of reference for the past. And you can kind of see for yourself, trust but verify, or whatever the fuck the saying is. You can see that that's kind of added even more efficacy to looking at that over the long term for judging long term trends. So not only that, but we do see momentum oscillators pointed back up. Weekly Stoch's going to be getting back up to test around the edge of the bearish control zone. More importantly, we are above where we broke down in September, where Bitcoin actually did flip around the trend over here. This trend from 10.3 creating an actual downtrend on the weekly. Again, the weekly reversal is getting. Those are the major massive moves. You might not catch the 14 high right here, but you catch the short below 10,000 right here, and it's almost $4,000 move right there, which is pretty damn impressive. Not only that, weekly RSI getting back above the exponential, which, as you can see, has pretty much accurately gotten the macro here as well. Anytime that Bitcoin's trending above it, that's your bull market, basically February of 2019 all the way to June. Got a little bit of bearish divergence right there, and then boom, we lost right here. Where is that? early July, late June, which was essentially the highs, and then down the whole way. And now we're getting our first kind of foray above it, a sustained foray above it, I should say. So all these things do look to me like if Bitcoin is going to fully revert to the weekly trend here, which in my opinion, I need to see a higher high printed before considering that, which our past prior high was about 9,500. I do actually think that Bitcoin probably does it on this, rally attempt. If again, assuming that Bitcoin actually has bottomed out, which I do think that there's, enough things for me to think that it's probably my first idea that yes, Bitcoin has bottomed out here. If this rally ends up failing, we'll know by Bitcoin going back down below 8,200, especially on a daily total closing basis. Even 8,300 would be problematic. So anything like that, and I would look for a full retrace, probably back down to the lower 7,000s, 7,200 to 7,000 low over time. And again, I want to be very direct in saying this. The price action right here is still in a downtrend as far as the weekly goes. Every other time frame is pretty much in an uptrend, and we are going to see all momentum oscillators on our higher time frame start to turn down. Daily Stokes very much down. However, they should be meeting this trend line relatively soon. Actually, they should be meeting it today. There you go. Not bad. Not bad at all, indeed. So perhaps a bouncy bounce in play. Daily RSI did have a little bit of bearish divergence present. However, I do think that whether we get another leg lower down to like 8,350, or we've already kind of seen the lows on this what do you want to call it, pullback right here. I do think that likely already has played out. If we take it over here though to the 2-day, this is where things get a little more nasty. We do see 2-day Stoke kind of turning down, and 2-day RSI actually having the same sort of bearish divergence as well. Problematic, but have we seen, would it be reasonable to say that we've seen the pullback from that divergence play? I do think so. I mean, this is not like a crazily bearishly diverged RSI that you see right here on the 2-day. It's, it's pretty much the same strength, while Bitcoin makes, a few dollar extra high over a weekend, more or less. So I'm not, I do think that it would be relevant to say that we've already kind of seen that. Same thing with the 3-day Stokes getting very tired up here. I think that we will be confirming this one. No, actually, we just got a fresh one. Another 2 days, it looks like. Literally completely fresh one. What is interesting to me on the 3-day though is that we do see the 10 simple cross into the upside of the yellow 21. Now it's not as accurate as our other ones, but you do see that more or less it gets some momentum well, but not. Man, yeah, no, not as well as some of the other tools that we've been using. You can see a few one-offs here in a downtrend that would have been absolutely catastrophic to enter in on. So fair enough. And of course, this guy right here actually providing the last little self attempt. Anyways, so for myself, as far as the higher time frames go, I'm essentially, I'm essentially medium term, just looking for a little bit more sideways in this region. And, do we get another test down to like 8,350, 8,400-ish region? I think possible, but it's, we kind of might have already seen that with that last leg down. It does seem to me like we're getting another bullwhip within this region. And the more sideways that Bitcoin goes here without breaking down, especially below 82 to 8,300, the more or less I do look at that as a consolidation at a high level, which is more or less bullish. Popping off the 200 moving average right here on the daily, which is a classic pullback area. In the way that we kind of approach it from, and then being resilient in this region, straight after that, we haven't really seen fall through from that initial Darth Maul dildo right here. In fact, literally, there is a higher low with each and every one of these passing wicks to the downside. This one about $20 higher, and then this one over here another $20 higher on top of that, or around there. Does kind of tell me that Bitcoin's being resilient here, which would imply strength. Still need to see it kind of operate for another few days and such, but. But so far, again, more and more sideways here is actually better for the bulls. So I do look at that as, overall constructive. And with the stipulation that if Bitcoin does break down below 8,200, especially on a higher time frame, then we actually have some problems and probably come back down to a lower $7,000 range. Of course, check out the long-term analysis video that I upload every Sunday, because that one's going to go much more into detail about some of the more fundamental reasons on why on why I do think that Bitcoin probably bounced from that low $7,000 region as well. But for right now, if you are trading the lower time frames, it's a little bit tricky here. Now we are seeing the volume signature come to a little little bit of a culmination, a little bit of a critical point, but it won't really be getting there. It'll be getting there relatively soon. What are we on? We're on the 23rd day. Yeah, sometime around sometime around tomorrow, like late Friday, I would suggest a breakage of this formation here. And in this case, that would mean a break either below 8,400 on this blue box territory, the upper echelon of it, or a break back above a break up to like 8950-ish region for the upside. And of course, breaking to the upside here again would just be more or less constructive. I don't know if Bitcoin has some momentum to actually break the 200 simple on the daily to the upside just yet, but if we do see any sort of a daily doodle being closed above let's call it like $9,000 now, it's actually a hair below that. I would look for overall extension to test around the last prior high, 9,500, give or take about $50, whatever it ends up being over time. And of course, while we are here, I briefly mentioned this earlier, but the golden cross on the daily will inevitably happen essentially as long as Bitcoin goes sideways here, and especially if it takes out 9,000 sooner rather than later. So things are kind of shaping up, and that is why I do believe that more sideways is essentially more or less fine for Bitcoin. Looking at lower time frame oscillators, it does still say that we're a little bit under pressure. 4-hour Stochs still coming down. I think 3-hour Stochs probably going to be coming in the same direction. Indeed, they are. 2-hour Stochs already there, and hourly kind of floating around. So what does that tell us? It tells us that we probably do have another test to the downside. So I do think that is very possible that we do get a move to officially test in this blue box territory here, this liquid zone between about 8,350, give or take a few bucks. And then from there, I'd be looking for a bounce. If this area does fail, and of course, this is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor, but what I can say is that the reason why I like this area is because it offers up a nice edge. You could say that we've already tested it right on over here. We did kind of get right down to it, to be fair. So, it's like, pick your poison here, I suppose. But again, it offers up a nice edge in the same way that this kind of blue box that we're hanging into right now does about the same. Anyways. Let's see what historical volatility percentile looks like on these lower timeframes as well. We do see that it is still, we're actually expanding right now. We're actually expanding right now on the hourly, and the hourly has been pretty damn good recently. Here's where the 30 minutes also expanding. Okay. What about the 2-hour? 2-hour starting to expand as well after getting extremely low. 3-hour, same thing. 4-hour, same thing. We got extremely low right on over here. I mean, we're showing reads on historical volatility percentile on these lower time frames, similar to what we saw precipitating like last major few moves. This one over here coming in middle of December, before Bitcoin put in a low quite literally at, what was it, like 6,500. Time before that was coming in right on over here before the November move. Time before that was October pump, that $3,000 pump. Time before that was mid-September, before that, essentially like $3,000 dump. Time before that was August highs, I believe, right in over here. Or sorry, this August rally over here, another $1,500 rally, I believe it was. So all of these precipitating, multi-thousand or at least $1,000 plus moves. 4-hour getting that low that recently. Does suggest that we are going to probably see this as a nice pivot here. So whether we do break to the upside or the downside, from here. And I actually don't enter into price action right here. I don't like these trading ranges. I'll play the peripheries of them, but I do not like trading in the middle of it. It's just too fucking hot for me. To me, it looks like it looks like we probably do get follow through sometime between Friday and the beginning of next week. So today probably gonna be a little bit more of a boring day as well, but I do think that kind of sets a tone for this upcoming week. Anyways, looking at RSI for these lower time frames, not really getting anything too interesting off them. I do see a trend line forming here on the 4-hour, which would likely suggest that we probably do come down and officially test it. This doesn't necessarily look too particularly strong in the lower time frames right here, but it's not all that conclusive either which way. I don't really have a strong, I'm not like married to that opinion right there, as I like to say. 3-hour, not really showing too much as well. 3-hour and 2-hour both kind of a little bit more angled to the downside, saying that we stay here for a little bit of time. And same thing with an hourly as well. So, what does that align with? It probably aligns with just filling out the range still a little bit more. Our more preliminary range, once again, just essentially between essentially where we are right now at about that 8550 wick to the downside to the top side. Again, this is of the very, 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 very low time frame range, 8750 right here. So as long as we're kind of closing, especially like 2-hour, 4-hour doors, between between this region. There's no major breakout or breakdown to be had. And if I had to guess, we probably do get another official wick down in this blue box terror right here. I'd really like to see the 12-hour on the on CMEs officially tested. Sorry, the 12-hour 200 simple at around 8350-ish region, which it's actually around 8400, which has about a $40 price premium on spot right now. So that kind of align with that lower echelon. That lower boundary. Anyways, go see how those ranges match up with our expected moves chart. And then going back on over here to BitMexico and seeing exactly what we're looking at. So again, remember the more preliminary range, this guy right here, medium term range would be anywhere below about 8250-ish region, or above about 8950. Let's go see what we're dealing with right on over here. Bitcoin coming back down. Anyways, we do see on a daily first day deviation encompassing the region between it is suggesting the downside here between 83. So that's that's essentially our lower blue box territory as it is right now. And holy shit, man, that was just a $30. That was a $30 tick actually on BitMexico. I just saw in the span of 1 second. Jesus Christ, man, powerful move, powerful. The bears are coming in hot, baby. But yeah, I would be looking for a bounce probably somewhere right around here. Doesn't mean that it has to, but I do like it as a nice potential edge. Very easy trade to be managed, and that's all that it really needs to be. Anyways, so yeah, so this actually is a little bit more angled to the downside, I would say. And more importantly, to that point, we do see that the top side of the first deviation, which is actually in line with our 8750 resistance. So that very, 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 very preliminary mark, which says that it's pretty unlikely that we actually do break out to the upside today. What's most likely? Sideways and a little bit of down. Assuming that we don't just completely shatter like 82, 8300-ish region. By the same token, the second standard deviation accurately getting around where the 200 simple is on the daily. So again, very, 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 very unlikely that we see any sort of like upside pressure from that, above that region. Literally less than a 2.5% chance that we actually do close above. So that would be needed for the next major move to the upside, in my opinion. And that's just telling us that it's probably not happening today. By the same token, to the downside, it is a little bit in danger here, to be fair. The bottom side of the first deviation is coming in right around 8250. So that does mean that we do have about a 16% chance to break below that today. Not all that high, but certainly higher than the upside, which is a little bit concerning. But on first pass, I would be looking for a bounce here. The question is, how powerful is that bounce? So, if I kind of had to, put on the fucking, what's it called? What's that word that I'm looking for? The fucking Sears goggles. Sounds fucking dumb. Sorry. but I'd probably look for another swipe to the downside, and then we'll see. And the big key will be to see how the response is from that region on a higher time frame close, like a 12-hour or even a 4-hour is going to be probably insightful in this region. My point is with that is that if we see a wick down into here and then closing above, let's call it like 85, 8600, that's going to be a pretty damn good response. That's essentially what you're looking for. Have to go over here to CMEs and really understand how that's going to be looking. Hey, whoa. Nice move on. What the fuck's going on here? Oh, that's right. It's on a little bit of a delay right now. But if CME is especially close above like 8,600, it's going to look like another bull wick down into the supply territory. Down into the demand territory. So completely fine. But that is why 8,300 is so damn important for spot, and about 84 for CMEs. Also maintains our uptrend on the daily as well, so quite nice. Anyways, speaking of actually the daily on CMEs, now that I look at it, we did break the 200 simple last night, holding on to the 10 simple right now. I'm not really getting too much off this. Let's see. We're going to see a fresh stoke cross to the downside. I don't necessarily like that, and more importantly, this is actually lining up a little bit more for a pullback here. And where is this coming in around? It's coming in around the edge of the bullish control zone, yes. However, it can take us a little bit of time to get down there. So perhaps we do have a little bit of downside here. Like I said, I really wouldn't mind a wick down here. I really wouldn't mind one down there. It's not too problematic. It wouldn't destroy structure from the daily perspective, but below there, that's where things start to change. So that's where biases can once again flip around a bit. Daily RSI, yeah, losing the exponential right here, probably a little bit more down as well. So yeah, if I did have to call it right now, I do think that Bitcoin comes a little bit further down. Anyways, holy shit, man, I've already been doing this video for 20 minutes. Let's go check out. I don't want to go through the full rigmarole on the Bitcoin VWAP ratio, but what I can say about it, if you've been tuning into the long-term analysis playlist that I upload every Sunday. We actually do have a confirmed change of behavior here with the purple above the pink, above the regression, and even the blue above all those guys right now. So pretty damn important as far as I'm concerned, and something that I've been following for the last few months. And just another kind of point long term doesn't mean that we can't come back down. Doesn't mean that we can't come back down to low 7,000, but another point long term saying that 6,500 low right here is safe, is SAFU. Anyways, let's go see how the other top shitcoins are doing in good old cryptocurrency land. We do see daily for Mr. Buterin over here looking a little bit less healthy than Bitcoin. If Bitcoin comes down to that lower level, I'd be looking for Buterin to come to 156 and a quarter, 156 and a half. Mrs. Litecoin, same thing essentially. I'm sure people are calling this a head and shoulders. If you see a breakdown in this one, I'd be looking for 53 and a quarter. Looking at a weekly, still not all that. I mean, we are kind of in. This one's very interesting right here. A rejection right here actually probably does lead into the weekly death cross, but that's assuming we get a weekly rejection here. Anyways, small pullback doesn't really destroy the weekly as it stands. However, it is still in a downtrend. So again, it's kind of like pick your poison, right? Daily RSI suggests a little bit more down as well. Let's go check. I'm curious how the other altcoins are looking like, just to get like a consensus in this market. Pretty much everything's looking around the same. Weeklies are all still in downtrends. Macro, daily looks like it could looks like for a little bit more down here to like 22 and a quarter. What do we have on EOS? Same thing. Maybe down to like 340, 345. Neo, what do we see here? Looks like it's already gotten kind of stabbed that region, $10.5. Tron, what are we looking at here? Consolidation at a high level. Do you like that? But I wouldn't mind another wick down to like 160. What about Bcash? What about this beautiful bitch here? If Bitcoin comes down, I'd probably look for it to come back down to like low 300. Let's see how GBTC closed out the day yesterday. Yeah, led the downside a little bit more. Did pop all the way down to the 21 exponential moving average. Do we have bearish evidence present? No, we do not. But I'm not really getting too much from this chart. In fact, the weekly kind of looks like it already found support here. I would say though, and I'm going to put an alert there right now. I would say that even a move below like 9 and a quarter, that's going to be very problematic for the weekly, and would probably confirm this as yet again another lower macro high. So keep that in mind. This could be the first kind of red flag firing. We typically do see GBTC lead to the downside, where a spot kind of leads to the upside, and in this case right here, I would say that a move below about 9 and a quarter is gonna resolve this as yet again another lower high. So downtrend continues, and if this does lead spot once again, which it has been for the last couple of years, that would probably be enough for me to make me bearish, at least for a move back down to like the mid to low 7,000. So we're talking about $500, maybe even $1,000 move. Let's see, what else do we want to talk about? Let's go check out Bitcoin dominance. I believe we got the pullback in that already, but the bounce in that already. But now is it time to get bearish on this once again? And I don't know. I don't know. This is. I don't think I should say anything about it. I don't have a strong opinion here. I don't think I have a good opinion here. Bulls are looking at this as a falling channel. Bears are looking at this as a breakage of structure, but has it really broken structure? Technically not, as long as it's above about 66 and a half. Let's go look at some individual altcoins versus Bitcoin over here. Cardano, what are you doing? Putting another potential failure of a rally soon. I'm not. I don't have a strong opinion on this. What about Link? Link looking a little bit more toppy. Let's go check out Buterin versus Bitcoin. Looking a little bit more toppy as well. Yeah. One more, but none of these are too conclusive to me. If I had to say something, they do look a little more toppy. Litecoin versus Bitcoin is a little bit more okay, at least for another test back up to 69. However, if I had to call it, I would say that they more or less look bearish. So perhaps it does hold here. Perhaps it does hold. I don't think I have a good read on that. I'll just say that straight up. I do not think that I have a good read on that. I would not like to live on the fucking cross for that one. Anyways, I feel like I'm missing a few things. Let's go check out traditional markets. Did they get the pullback that we were looking for yesterday? Yes, indeed. Well, not all the way down. We did come down to the 131 to the 131 and a quarter level that we spoke about. However, I do think that this could have a little bit more to go today, between today and tomorrow, Friday, somewhere around like 329, 328 and a half region. One of my someone that I really respect is what I try to say in traditional markets, like an old friend, actually is kind of looking for a reversal or correction relatively soon in this, and he's usually right about those, but we can have a correction, all the way down here. It's not going to destroy anything. We can even have a correction all the way down to like 320. But I do think it's kind of in a pullback. I would just be going level by level, because overall this is still a very strong uptrend, of course. And daily oscillators are fine. I think maybe we have a little bit of bearish evidence here. Yeah, we do. So maybe a quick move down to like 328 and a half. And then if bounce fails, I'd be looking for 325 and a half. However, all higher time frames are still more or less bullish. Weekly fine in an uptrend. Probably the monthly is good to go as well. Weekly maybe a little bit more of a pullback, but monthly is going to be closing next week, of course, and monthly RSI is still kind of showing the way that we have plenty of room here. So macro is still more or less safe. So if it is a pullback, probably it's a short-term, medium-term pullback, and probably wouldn't expect it to go anywhere lower than like 320 unless this quite literally is a reversal. Where? Yeah, 320 is what I'd say. Even 325 is kind of like a not all that problematic. Bitcoin coming down to 8507. My God, man, my dyslexia is killing me today. Let's go check out gold. What's gold doing? More or less sideways once again. Yeah. Pretty much exactly what we said the other day. Just kind of filling this range a little bit more. More and more sideways is okay, is more or less constructive. I don't think that is getting ready to break anytime. I shouldn't say anytime soon, but not like today or tomorrow. Of course, the range is very much set anywhere above 1575. I'd look for extension back up to this blue box territory, a little bit above 1600. Any violation of 1530 to 1535 down here, and I'd look for a retrace all the way down a little bit below 1500 to like 1495 region. Euro dollar, is it getting ready for the breakdown? I think it is. I think we're likely going to be coming down to 110, a little bit more medium term. However, on a daily basis, what are we looking at right now? Daily's trying to put in a low right here, actually, and this kind of is like the formations that it does like to bottom off of, but maybe a short-term rally back up to 111, a little bit above 111, but I still think medium-term probably does have a little bit more further downside to go. Dollar yen, what are we checking out here? Yep, we're getting that pullback that we spoke about yesterday, and I do think it probably has a little bit more, probably down. I think I said 105 and a half yesterday. This coming from the position that it's in, I think has probably a little bit more juice to it. Maybe a wick down here towards 109.1 region. What do we see on pound yen? Pound yen getting a nice move to the upside. Looks like it pulled back a little bit more. We're seeing this pullback once again, but 143 and a half region, and I'll probably look for a bounce back above there. I am actually cautiously medium-term bullish as long as we're above, especially 143 even, and longer term, looks to me like, especially if we close above the 200 simple on the weekly, probably do make a run towards a prior high of 146, potentially even beyond over time. Anyways, what else do we see? But that's of course a little more longer term. What else do we want to look at? I think we know everything right there. What about Dixie? Let's see what dollar index is doing. Looks bullish to me. Wow, powerful dollar, powerful dollar. I'm sure a lot of people are looking at this as a rising channel that was resolved to the downside. Maybe it was, but consolidating this area right here is, if it breaks back up to the upside, that's going to be a nice little fake out, and I'd look for a quick move back up above 98 and a quarter, which would be quite devastating, I'd imagine, to dollar bears. Bitcoin getting nailed back down below, and it does look to me like we probably will make a foray into this blue box down here. So time to wrap this bitch up because we're already 30 minutes in, and why the fuck not? Overall, I'm still medium term looking for, sideways and kind of down. as long as Bitcoin's especially closed in higher time frame deltas above 8,200, even 8,300 is probably good enough for myself. It does look to me like we're going to get a test into this blue box territory here. That's encompassing the area around about 8350-ish region, and I probably would be looking for a bounce there. If the bounce does fail, then that's going to really be in alignment with this being yet again another lower high in the weekly, and we will very likely come back down to the mid to low 7,000s over time. Maybe not the snap of fingers, but over time, yes, or at least I would be looking for it. But again, going to take a little bit more time to quite literally happen for, before we can actually see that. But does look like things have a little bit more oomph to the downside right here. To the upside, as we looked at on the expected moves chart, a little bit unlikely to happen today. But if we did get a close above 8750, I would look for another test back up around the prior high, 8950 to 9,000 bucks around the weekly, not the weekly, but the daily 200 simple, and any sort of a close above there. Again, I'm not really looking for it to happen today or even tomorrow for that matter, but that's at the point where I start to get bullish for the next move towards 9,500-ish region. So for right now, it looks like we're gonna get a little bit of low time frame movement going on. And with that said, I'd like to wish you the best. As always, man. Why the fuck not? It's easy to do. It's free as well. So it's like, if everyone just did it, man, I think the world would have a little bit more smiles on their face, which would be nice. Walk around town, you don't have to see people looking like they have elephant cunts on their face. Anyways, yeah, I'll be on Twitch a little bit later. Perhaps around like 9 a.m. Eastern time. And with that said, take care, and until next time.